Everybody, welcome back. My name is Yumble, and today I'd like to continue the series that I started without knowing I was starting a series. For those of you that have seen the previous video, you know that we made this road layout using some advanced drafting software. If you haven't seen that yet, then feel free to check that out. Good inspiration on how to come up with a layout. But you'll notice I've started filling in the map with buildings and some additional local roads, things like that. I'd like to go over the state of things, show you what's changed, show you what networks we're using, and how I plan on developing this city. Everyone sit back, relax, enjoy the build. Before we get to the placement of buildings and neighborhoods, I really want to discuss what networks are being used in this build. You could say that my philosophy has become downgrade to upgrade, as in using smaller networks to encourage multimodal use and also not to take up so much space. But here's what I've gotten into. The asset creator CLUS, C-L-U-S in the Steam Workshop, makes these great networks. Starting with the arterial, it's this 5+2 asymmetrical road, and I think I'd like for that to be the biggest road in the city, aside from the highway, of course. So we've got that connected. It's got this great transition in the middle. And for context, it is the trapezoid from the first video. You can essentially see it's the trapezoid has been replaced. I also used it. It's great in spots where you want to add an asymmetrical transition. Really here, I just want traffic to be allowed to have its own dedicated turn lanes while transitioning onto this road. This is an asymmetrical road with bus lanes. Actually has the same lane math as the, what is this, 5+2. This is a 5+2 with bus lanes. I might have to go in with Traffic Manager to ensure that that stays true to its busishness. That's a word. But that one goes down the whole middle of the city. This area is going to connect to it, and I imagine we'll have some sort of bus expressway, probably. But let's stay flexible, chill out. Don't nothing is set in stone by any means. The same network as this one, actually. This one's crucial throughout the city. This is a bike version of that bus road. So this is used all over the place. I threw this in as the collector road, essentially. What's really good about it is asymmetrical roads. You can have traffic stack up in different lanes. You get turn lanes, lots of benefit there. But also, you get this beautiful protected bike lane that actually has a little, what would you call that? Some sort of barrier, I guess. I forget the term. But yeah, protected bike lane, which is really nice. No parking. I generally don't want parking on the arterials or the collectors, though, except when I do. I'll show you that scenario in just a moment. But this one is used all over the place also. Let's see if I can, what is it? This picker. Nodes. Just want to illustrate where this road is used. So that is our arterial network. This one is more the collector network. And actually, these roads down here in the bottom left will be replaced with that bikeable road at some point. I just haven't done it yet. But you can see we've got this sort of shape going outside of the arterial. So related to, but outside of the arterial, right? Pretty cool. But you might say that that's not an extensive enough bike network to get by, and I would agree. Those are just the big roads with bike lanes. Enter the suburban bike lane road, which I'm really happy with. This is a phenomenal network. It looks really good. It works great. Everything's basically perfect about it. To select this one to show you. So imagine this is our large road bike network connected to the roads that you actually want to bike on. So these smaller, lower speed limit roads traffic-wise, I think these are 20 miles per hour, but these connect great to our already existing large road bike network, but you can bike virtually anywhere in the city with this. So this goes up into our suburban areas. It goes up into this development that I'm working on right now, kind of a what would you call it? Apartments with some nice amenities going on. And that gets you downtown, assuming that downtown is in this area. This road will probably turn into that bike road as well. I just forgot to do it. But yeah, the roads, the networks used are very important. And that brings me to what I would call Main Street, kind of as our final trick. So imagine you get off the highway here, big road transitioning to the highway to avoid backups. That's great. I'm fine with that. 3 lanes condensed down to 2 lanes. 2 lanes go back up to 3, I guess. It's okay. It's a bit messy right now. But you take your turn, and if you're living the suburban life, you'll turn right in here onto this collector, and you can turn into your neighborhoods. And this road is really cool. I haven't finished it yet, but it's a parking lot roads road. I have to add all of the parking lots to it, all of the 60-degree parking that's going to go here. But this is kind of our main street. This might be a preserved sort of old town section, is what I would call it. We've got some sort of turn-of-the-century shops here. A lot of early 1900s and maybe newer as well. It's whatever. I'll show you how to make building packs in a little bit, how I manage this. This is where I used the big road once again to make turn lanes, and then we're back to commercial. The other side of the road is going to be commercial as well, but I'm going to have to put the parking in when that happens because it's going to be parking madness. I'm using realistic parking in traffic manager settings, so all the vehicles need a place to park, though I am using bike lanes to try to minimize that and mitigate that a bit, and transit is going to be important as well. But this is in the Ultimate American Roads pack, so I'd recommend using that. This blank road is in the Ultimate American Roads pack as well. The rest of them are by Kluss, so go to Kluss's workshop, tell him I sent you, and get all of his stuff. It's really, really great. Largely what we're looking at here is single-family detached zoning, you know, single-family, small residential. In North America, we love this sort of thing. Is it a bit of a problem? Yeah. You know, does it look nice? Also, yes. I think it looks great. I'm using these custom houses largely by Chrysler, I believe. Largely by Chrysler and maybe by Smiley's as well. I can go in and verify that. But I've created a suburban Woodland Park here. I've created a suburban theme, and I'm also using level control. So a cool thing, get level control because you can force the levels to change. But also I recommend using random spawn levels because assets from the Steam Workshop, sometimes you don't want to start at level 1 and you'd rather just let it let it grow whatever grows because it's probably going to look better than all just level 1 buildings. So I'm a big fan of that. Also I'm using Theme Manager, and this is called Flavortown Low. You might have noticed the city seems to be called Flavortown, so I'm kind of rolling with that. So Flavortown Low is composed of largely these single-family homes. There we go. So Chrysler. There's a couple row houses I didn't include because I want it to be these single-family detached homes. I've gotten away from zoning recently, so I'm trying to get back into it. What else do we have? Pittsburgh bungalows, Sears houses. Those are also Chrysler, I believe, in the Steam Workshop. I skipped all the vanilla houses as well. All the ones that say villa there. But yeah, that is my theory with this. Upon reviewing comments from the last video, I saw that a lot of you were freaking out because the grid is too big. Everyone's like, the grid is too big. You're wasting a lot of space in the middle. Oh, I've been playing with Zoning Adjuster as well. I turned off a bunch of zoning. But you're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think that everyone was lacking a complete picture about what was going on, though. I didn't state this explicitly, but everything can be changed and is flexible and can be subdivided and all kinds of things, and that's what I've done here. You can see there's kind of a low density neighborhood, which still needs to be decorated. I'll put some trees in, of course, but this is a higher density, low density neighborhood, without being too confusing with the language. But these houses are often a bit closer together, and certainly the blocks are a bit smaller. And what this really is I took this block here, and I subdivided it. And that is totally fine. That was always the intent. I just wanted to make a video about road hierarchy. Sorry I didn't include the smallest of local roads, but here we are. I think this works great. If I want to, I can make it so this is right turn only to preserve road hierarchy, but until this backs up, I see no reason to do that, so I'm perfectly content with that. Also, we have a school over here. There's a school over here, and a bus system unifying the whole area. I'll get to the train station in just a moment, but the bus system is just small. I'll expand this as I go. I'm pro sort of, especially with something as flexible as buses, change that as much as you want. Unlike trams or metro, the buses are liquid. Whatever your roads do, the buses can do. So I've just got the high school connected to the neighborhood, connected to the middle school or the elementary school here, connected to our transit hub back to the high school. So that's all great, with another stop in this neighborhood too, because they need it as well. That transit is going to be metro as well. As the city grows, we will need metro to get from uptown to downtown, or whatever you want to call it. And also this area and this area, as they develop, they're going to want to be metroed in between each other as well. So I think metro and buses are a really good way to go for transit. A lot of people have been asking about services in City Skylines and where I like to put services. I think it's very much case by case, and it depends on the situation and what style you're building and what you're going for. But what I've done here is I've treated Main Street as also our service hub. So this is a collector road by context. In road hierarchy, this would be a collector. So I've got our death care, which is actually a really nice asset. It's just a kind of a suburban funeral home, which is great. I think that looks good enough to use. I built a little parking lot for it. I haven't decorated much yet, so there's no... there should be like trees or something to sit on out front maybe. That isn't quite there yet. But that's death care. Healthcare, I'm using this tiny family medicine building. You can see we're barely using any ambulances, and we barely have any patients. So I don't recommend putting a giant hospital right on your suburban main street. That doesn't really make sense. Maybe that's how it is in some cities. Like, I do have this large hospital, but I don't know that I want the hospital to be right on Main Street. I don't think that makes sense. But a little family medicine, kind of a doc in the box kind of situation. Maybe it's like a patient first or something like that. In City Skylines, of course, that building is putting out ambulances, but in the real world, this is just an office. It's just a doctor's office, like a Main Street. In the US, we just have offices on Main Street for health and things like that. So that's cool. I think that works for my purposes. Moving on, I've put the police station on Main Street as well. I think there's almost always a police station near Main Street, if not on it. So I decided to put that here this time. That may move, but that should certainly be close to your homes and businesses. So that's central, without a doubt. Moving on, I put the fire station a little further out of the way. And we've also got this the beginnings of a industrial area. So I really don't want to just zone in a bunch of crazy industrial and just be like, look at my crazy industrial area. I think in the real world, what it looks like is industrial is generally in a spot that has its own access, separate from the suburban part of town, or separate from a lot of the residential, at least. So I've made it so they're only 2 turns away. The highway is only 2 turns away to get to this, and they don't really interrupt the residential traffic too much. Just this 1 or 2 junctions, so that's not bad at all. But I put the fire station near that because I think that those are generally noisier. Maybe not in the game, probably not in game, but the fire station, for everything that I say is a rule, there are 1,000 ways to break it. But this is the rule that I've made for myself, is that this is going to cause noise. So I've put it a little further, I've put it a little away from the houses and closer to industry, which is probably going to be expanded upon. We do have industrial demand, but that's actually office demand, I think, because we've built some high density buildings recently. And to finish up, this is I've got a bus depot that's stuck off to the side because I haven't built an area for it. And same thing for the garbage, actually. I'm using this recycling center. I think this is from the Steam Workshop. Probably Fish Bus, unless this is actually the normal recycling center. I do not remember offhand. Yep, it's the Fish Bus one. So this is one of the older recycling centers in the Steam Workshop, but it holds up. I don't actually have a spot for either of these yet, so I'm a fan of, as I plan, I'll take a dead-end road. I could have done the same thing over here, continued this and stuck the services just there, so the city is functional while I make these decisions. So for now, they're just kind of off to the side, off on the other side of the train tracks. Maybe they'll wind up in this area. I'm not sure yet. Please stay tuned. Please stay flexible. Moving on. I want to show you some of the decisions that I made surrounding the train station. So I actually made it an underground, what's the term? Sunken. It's a sunken station with entry over here. So it's got a much more even grade going down. going down. It's a very shallow grade, agreeable for trains. The train track goes under near our industry and fire department, so that's kept away from residential is the idea there. And it travels underground and comes out over here. So my logic is this area is going to be the growing part of the city. I'd like to have City Hall down in this area perhaps and kind of make it nice and decorative. So I'd like for this part of the city to be the part that has a little bit more money. Oh, look at this. This train station is beautiful. I forget who made it, but if you search Sunken Station, it's brilliant. Works really, really well if you want to do a tunnel, and there's a bit of shopping down below potentially if you want to add it there. But yeah, great station. I want this to be a little bit higher density because people, maybe they want to live closer to Town Hall, maybe they want to live closer to the train station, maybe there's a little upscale shopping in this area. I haven't quite established that yet. Right now, it's just a train station and a bus stop, kind of a not very strong bus stop at that, but I think eventually it's going to have metro access, it's going to have a better bus access, maybe even a bus terminal somewhere, like an inner city bus terminal, but that's my logic. And this is these are the houses that I'm using. These are by Smiley's, so it makes for a nice little kind of new neighborhood, right? Maybe it's a little gentrified, maybe they had to buy out some of the previous homeowners here. Or maybe they had to start living in one of these spots. So it's one of those spots that people love to hate kind of thing. But I like to include that type of vibe in the city. I think that's a good use of space near transit because the property value typically goes up if you live near a train station or a metro or anywhere that has good access to other parts of the city. Plus upscale shopping is going to go in here, all using themes. So this, I call it the station, this little development here. The station, I've used Flavortown Medium. It's a managed theme by me, so Medium includes these high-density buildings. I've chosen the brick condo set by Smiley's. I'm probably going to be using his low-density commercial as well. I'm not sure if it's low-density or high-density. I'll probably have to find it, but he has all these great commercial buildings. They might be under low density. What I'm doing here is I'm just using the scroll wheel and then looking at the picture on the right to see if I see something that strikes me. It's the same way that I did Main Street as well. So Main Street has kind of this wall-to-wall 18 to 1900s vibe. Just like this, like I could pick some wall-to-wall buildings and then just zone them in, and as long as they come in well, I'll curate them as well. So we'll zone. I'll pick buildings in the map theme or in the district theme. I'll let some buildings grow in, and then I'll go in and curate it, and maybe delete buildings if I don't like where they came up, and let it try again. Or I will use move it to nudge buildings into position in context. So I want to be able to use zoning to save time, but then always have the option to change things as necessary. Now that I've talked it up, I think that I'm going to go back to low density commercial. These are a lot of the buildings that I'm using over on Main Street here. So a lot of this type of stuff. It's these wall-to-wall buildings. But what I'm looking for really is there's this modern set of buildings. So within the theme that we have going on of these modern new condos going up, I would like to have some commercial to match. It may end up being low-density commercial. If anyone knows, I've tried to research this, but high-density commercial versus low-density commercial, I think that high-density pedestrians will go and shop at low-density commercial if we put it there. I don't think they care. As far as I can tell, it's just how many people get employed. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong as well. I'm also going to end up setting up high-density themes as well. So this is kind of the low-density theme is the suburban neighborhood. This is our medium-density area, so I'm getting medium-density buildings and putting them in there. Having trouble finding the modern shopping places that I want to find. I believe they're also by Smiley's, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe they're under the shops, in the last place I look, of course. Small Town America fits here. all that kind of stuff. Well, I'll find them later, I guess. But anyway, that's how themes work. If you ever want to make a theme, you go to Theme Manager, New Theme, you can name it, and then you just go in and check boxes wherever you want. Here, let's see if I can search this. Modern, and I'll search under none, and turn on low density commercial, high density commercial. None of the above. Are they leisure? No. Well, that's fine. I'll figure it all out later. But anyway, this area is going to be have some nice shopping for the upscale folks here, and probably a park here, and I'll end up doing parks in other areas as well. But so far, so good. I want to keep building this city. I want to go through I want to continue on the low density area, and then transition to kind of a medium mid-rise area, and then go up to higher density near the water. I feel like property value is usually higher near the water. So this area, Yarnville, which was purchased on Twitch. So feel free to check me out on Twitch if you want to see certain areas that go up, if you want to see how the build actually looks. That's cool. That's typically where the building actually occurs. This will all be high density, and maybe a stadium or something. Some sort of cool centerpiece would be really great. And of course, this is going to have to get managed. So this is going to have a very unique traffic flow to it. It's going to be 3 traffic lights all working together. The right turns will go up here, straight through will go this way. There will be a flow, and this road will be split between the two depending on their destination. So I can't wait to have high enough density to set that up. Everyone, thank you so much for hanging out. Thanks for letting me expound upon this road hierarchy concept that I started. The layout is still very strong and very flexible, and I'll keep subdividing things as necessary and making additions throughout. Everyone, feel free to check me out on Twitch. Of course, subscribe here if you haven't already. I do a lot of City Skylines tutorials and a lot of different things, a lot of different City Skylines stuff, so feel free to subscribe here on the YouTube. We also have a community Discord, which is growing rapidly. Feel free to join the Discord if you have questions, comments, if you want to add your own pictures of your city or ask for help, things like that. Discord is great. Everyone, thank you so much for hanging out. Thanks for listening to me talk about this. I've been Yumble. I'll see you in the next stream or the next video.